the live stream, you heard? Hey man, I was over here just I listened to this interview they got up there on the Fight Hype channel here on YouTube. And it looked like Sugar Ray Leonard and Floyd Mayweather, they had a little debate on Instagram, you know what I mean? And the man Floyd Mayweather basically telling the man Sugar Ray Leonard, like, you're Sugar and I'm TBE. You know what I mean? And the man Floyd goes ahead and tells the man, look, you lost to a lightweight in your very first fight. Floyd Mayweather, TBE, has never lost. You know what I mean? Now look, man, I like Floyd, man. I'll be one of the first to say Floyd's one of the best fighters I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? Especially during my era, my lifetime, since I was born. He's one of the best, if not the best. You know what I mean? Now, I like guys like Pernell Whitaker. You check it. I think Sweepy's one of the best, but I could easily say Floyd surpassed Sweepy, you know what I mean? And I didn't ever think that would be the case while Floyd was coming up, because that was a guy who I always compared to Sweepy, Floyd Mayweather, you know what I mean, to Pernell Whitaker. Hold tight right quick. Let me send these links out to social media one time, you know what I mean? You check it now, you see the man Floyd Mayweather, he's there being interviewed by that dude Ben from Fight Hype, man. And the man Floyd Mayweather is a kind of guy, yeah, he'll give these guys props, these legends, but then he's also gonna put his 2 cents in and basically kind of discredit those guys, you know what I mean? Now look, man, yeah, Sugar Ray Leonard lost to Roberto Duran. But it's not like Roberto Duran came straight up and down out of lightweight, jumped to 147 to beat the man Ray Leonard, you know what I mean? Nah, the man Duran had a couple fights over 140 pounds before he fought the man Floyd Mayweather, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, before he fought Sugar Ray Leonard. You check it, and the man Roberto Duran is not just no regular lightweight. He's arguably the greatest lightweight of the world, and he came up in weight, and like I said, had a few fights over 150, 140 before he got in the ring with the man Ray Leonard. You know what I mean? The way Floyd is saying it, it's like a man like, I don't know, for instance, let's say Anthony Crolla. Anthony Crolla just jumping up there from 130. Even though 135, a career lightweight guy, even though he has fought at 140, you know what I mean? Anthony Crolla, I believe his last fight with Ricky Burns, that was at 140. That's like saying, that's like Anthony Crolla just jumping up there and fighting the man Errol Spence right now, you know what I mean? Or Keith Thurman. Nah, man, the man Duran is in a class of his own, man. He's a legend. This man is one of the best fighters of all time, you know what I mean? And Floyd does give him that credit, but again, in the same breath, he's kind of shitting on the man Ray Leonard, saying you just lost to a regular lightweight. No, the man Duran is not no regular lightweight. You check it. The man Sugar Ray Leonard, the man is a great fighter, you know what I mean? I wasn't a big fan of his, you know what I'm saying? I like the guys like Thomas Hearns and Marvin Hagler, you know what I mean? And, and Duran. I like those guys more than Ray Leonard, you know what I'm saying? But Ray Leonard was a great fighter, no doubt about it, you know what I mean? Just straight up and down, getting his first W, beating the Bible of boxing, Wilfred Benitez, you know what I mean? Wilfred Benitez was undefeated when he fought the man Ray Leonard. He had about like 39 fights under his belt. That was like his 39th fight when he fought the man Ray Leonard, you know what I'm saying? This guy Benitez was the youngest champion of all time. Them fellas was like 17 years old with a world title. You check it. When he beat I believe Antonio Cervantes at 140. You check it. So these guys right here. Yo, I see MBT in the chat. What's going on, big man? He says, what's happening, B Marsh? Happy holidays. Happy holidays to you, my friend. You know what I'm saying? Give thanks, man. Thanks for coming through and listening to this live video. I was basically talking about this little debate Sugar Ray Leonard and Floyd Mayweather had on Instagram. And Ray Leonard reminded Floyd, these are quotes, it's not verbatim, but he said, you remember that time when you told me, this is what Sugar Ray Leonard is telling Floyd. Remember that time you told me I'm the best fighter that you've ever seen in your life? And then Ray Leonard says, what did you forget about that? Now because you're retired, you forgot about that? Then he tells the man, happy holidays. You was a great fighter. You was a bad boy in the ring. You know what I mean? All right, Mr. Jeff Horn. I'm sorry. MBT says Jeff Horn knocks them both out with it. MBT, man, you're a funny dude, man. You're a funny dude. Jeff Horn, man, them fellas don't even want to fight Crawford, man. Mr. Doc, what's happening, big man? I see you in the chat, man. But fellas like Floyd, man, he's a kind of guy, man. I like Floyd, but this is a part of Floyd I don't like, you know what I mean? Let the fans say you're TBE. Don't refer to yourself as TBE all the time, you know what I mean? Look, okay, I know Muhammad Ali did that himself, you know what I mean? But Muhammad Ali fought all the best fighters in his era, you know what I mean? No excuses in their prime too, you know what I mean? Ain't no fighter he ain't beat in his prime, you know what I mean? You check and find fellas like Foreman, Frazier, you know what I'm saying? These guys were in their prime. Prime for prime, I think Muhammad Ali fought better fighters prime for prime than Floyd Mayweather did, you know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. I think the man Floyd Mayweather, he's a great fighter, but Ali's also fighting in the heavyweights, you know what I mean? And let Floyd tell you, oh, you're not a great fighter unless you jump divisions, you know what I mean? So the guy Floyd is talking to this guy Ben on the fight hype guy. That guy don't know ish about boxing, man. Sorry, that guy don't know nothing about boxing. The man Floyd Mayweather went on to say stuff about what about Sugar Ray Robinson? You know what I mean? He said, "Oh, how many divisions he go up?" Yeah, he went from 147 from welterweight to middleweight. Floyd ain't never touched middleweight. Nope, nope. And the man Sugar Ray Leonard has fought below 147 too. You know what I mean? At lightweight, you check it. Now look, let's do the math. The man those days there wasn't no junior welterweight. I'm junior middleweight division. So the man jumped up 13 pounds. That man Floyd Mayweather ain't never done that in his life. He ain't never jumped up 13 pounds. I see Mr. Doc in the chat. He says Foreman and Frazier were Olympic gold medalists too. Facts, yes they were. They definitely were Olympic gold medalists, you know what I mean? Just like Sugar Ray Leonard. Something Floyd didn't achieve, although I thought he got cheated. He should have won, at least gone to the gold medal round, you know what I mean? But he lost and he got the bronze. They robbed him though. But MBT says Mayweather told them I was undisputed because I had. Oh man, I even forgot about that. Let me finish. MBT says Mayweather told them I was undisputed because I had 3 belts when I beat Pacquiao. Fight Hype agreed with him. Facts. I forgot all about that guy Ben on Fight Hype. Yeah, I remember when Floyd said that when they was walking through his closet showing all his belts. No, you ain't undisputed because you ain't never grabbed the IBF belt that the man Kell Brook had at the time. Mr. Doc says Floyd didn't fight no Joey Maxim. Exactly. He ain't fight them fellas. That guy was a career light heavyweight guy, you know what I mean? MBT says Fight Hype is the biggest Mayweather award and Wilder nut huggers on planet Earth. No doubt about it. I can definitely agree with that. Even the guy Ben was basically saying, when Floyd was talking about Roberto Duran losing to Tommy Hearns, the guy Ben from Fight Hype's talking about, yeah, that fight was at middleweight. No, it wasn't. That fight was at junior welterweight, you know what I'm saying? Excuse me, junior middleweight, 154 pounds. And that was for Tommy Hearns, WBC 154 title, you know what I mean? Them fellas Ben from Fight Hype, from Fight Hype, he didn't even know that, you know what I mean? So my point is, the man Floyd, he can talk all that stuff with Ben because Ben probably don't know nothing about boxing. You check it, but he can't come talk that ish with knowledgeable people about the sport. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna call his bluff. You know what I mean? I'm gonna call his bluff. I'm gonna show him, hey man, look, Sugar Ray Robinson went up from 147 to 160. That's 13 pounds. That's something that Ray Leonard. And, Ray Leonard's a guy who went from 147 all the way to 168. Yeah, he got a title at 175 with that Bandulu dubious stuff he pulled with the guy, the Canadian dude. What's the Donnie Lalonde draining the man. But he achieved a belt at 175. You know what I'm saying? Them fellas, Ray Leonard, man, come on, man. Look, the man Ray Leonard came out of a 3-year retirement to fight the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter on the planet in Marvin Hagler at 160. Whoever won that fight is debatable. Could be Ray Leonard, could be Hagler, could be a draw. You know what I'm saying? However it goes, the fact is he went up to 160 and he won that title and the lineal title. That man Floyd ain't ever do that when he came out of retirement and fought them fellas. Marquez, a career lightweight guy, a guy who was a lineal lightweight champ at the time, and Floyd ain't even make the correct weight that they were supposed to. You know what I mean? So look, everything Floyd has done in his career, he doesn't have to compare with the older guys. You know what I mean? Or guys who are previous legends, who still are legends, but he doesn't have to compare these guys. You know what I mean? Mr. Doc says, let me see in the chat. LOL, like getting sparked out by Hearns is a shame for a guy who started at super bantamweight. Exactly. Yeah, MBT says, I think Ben knows, but he doesn't correct them to keep his credentials. That might be true, man. That might be true, man, but he's just looking stupid in the process. You know what I mean? Mr. Doc says, Duran gave Marvin Hagler all he could handle. As I recall, all three cards had Hagler by 1 point. No question, man. If it wasn't for the championship rounds, in my opinion, Hagler would have lost that fight to Duran, you know what I mean? He came on strong at the end, Another thing, look at Duran, man. Them fellas, Duran went up to 160, and he beat Iran Barkley and even floored the man Iran Barkley. Iran Barkley had just sparked out Tommy Hearns for that WBC 160-pound title. Now, that's a career lightweight guy, Floyd, right? That's a career lightweight guy who challenged himself all the way from 135, went all the way up to and grabbed titles at 168. You check it. Now, that's something Floyd Mayweather hasn't done, so I'm not taking nothing away from Floyd, but you can't exalt yourself and try to discredit or disregard some of these older fighters, you know what I mean, who did pave the way for you. You know what I mean? These guys paved the way for Floyd. You check it. You can't do that, man. Just let these fighters be. Let your credentials speak for yourself, you know what I mean? And just leave it at that, you know what I'm saying? Exactly, Mr. Doc. Mr. Doc says, good point. Floyd never fought an Iran Barkley. Yeah, he never challenged himself. There was a point in time I'd have liked to see him fight Maravilla, Sergio Martinez, you know what I mean? At 160. That'll be, Martinez was like number 3 pound for pound on the planet at them times. Floyd was number 1. I'd have liked to see it, you know what I mean? Cotto beat him to the punch, you know what I'm saying? Cotto beat him to the punch. A guy who came from 140, got a title legitimate, even though the man definitely was kind of crippled. Yeah. But he got the title, no excuses, man. He got that lineal title. And remember, Sergio Martinez is one of the longest reigning lineal middleweights of all time, behind fellas like Hagler and what's the Argentinian guy? And fuck is it, man? Damn, man, I'm forgetting his name. Carlos Monzon, you know what I mean? You check it. So, that was a good a good feat by the man Maravilla, you know what I'm saying? MBT says Martinez was even willing to fight him at 154. Yes, indeed, he was. He was, but Floyd never challenged himself, and I'm not saying he had to or his career is defined by him not fighting at middleweight. Nah, man, I'm not going to say that, but let him tell it. He'll discredit people and say you're not a great fighter if you didn't move up in weight classes. Marvin Hagler stayed at 160. You check it. Beat on all comers, all contenders, and he gave him that work, you know what I mean? Mr. Doc in the chat says Lara was willing to fight him at 154 too. Yeah, he was. Yep. Mr. Doc says Duran, Ray, Hearns, and them didn't avoid Benitez. No, they didn't. They didn't. And that guy was the Bible of boxing, man. A technician, boxing technician. And some would say he's boring. I thought he was a master. He was a masterful boxer. You know what I mean? A master boxer who put on exhibitions when he fought and had that tight defense. You know what I mean? Something that Floyd Mayweather knows exactly about. Creating offense from his defense. You know what I'm saying? And just straight up and down dissecting opponents. But this isn't the first time I've heard Floyd kind of discredit the fighters that paved the way for him to try exalt himself. Even the fact that he jumped into Sugar Ray Leonard's comment section on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Ray Leonard wasn't talking to him. Ray Leonard was talking with the fans. You know what I'm saying? And Floyd had to interject himself. I see MBT says in the chat, I think fighters should only move up in weight when there's nothing left in their division or they grew out of it. Hagler had a prestige resume at 160. No doubt he did, man. He definitely did. You know, those fighters that he fought when he became a champion, even before that, those are prime time fighters right there, man. You know, fellas, like, you know, Tommy Hearns, Duran, you know what I'm saying? Sugar Ray Leonard, you know what I mean? Even when he beat Vito Antuofermo, and even gave him a rematch. The first time he got robbed, but he gave the man a rematch, a former world titleist, a former undisputed champ, and he sparked him out, man. That's why Hagler's one of my favorite fighters of all time. Mr. Duck says he's telling MBT, yeah, either way can be a path to greatness, no question. Either way, you know what I mean? All these fighters, nobody in boxing has the same career path as the other, you know what I mean? Everybody paves their own way, tries to make their own history, you know what I mean? And Floyd has his own history, one of the best resumes out of this current era, you know what I mean? His era is over with if he's retired for good, you know what I mean? But he has definitely one of the best resumes, you know? But some will say he fought fighters when they were past their prime or when they taking beatings. Like some would say, oh, he fought the man Cotto when he took a thorough beating from fellas like Pacquiao and Margarito, you know what I mean? Some will say, look, he only fought the man Pacquiao after he had got put to sleep, you know? A lot of people could dissect everybody's resume, you know what I mean? And if he's going to dissect Sugar Ray Robinson's, he said he's done more than Sugar Ray Robinson did in half the fights. Well, like I said, man, Floyd ain't never jump up 13 pounds, taking that kind of risk. You check it, jumping up that many weight classes, you know what I mean? And then, like, again, coming off retirement like the man Ray Leonard did after 3 years, jumping out there and just fighting the man Marvin Hagler. You know what I'm saying? Floyd ain't never do that after a 3-year hiatus. You know what I mean? What's one thing I could say about those fighters back in the G? They definitely took more risks. Their career wasn't just based upon going undefeated, you know what I mean? And even if that's how they started their career, they wanted to go undefeated. Roy Jones said that was what he wanted to do, go undefeated. But when he took his first loss to Montel Griffin, threw that out the window. Now you got to seek other challenges to make yourself great. And he did that, you know what I'm saying? Let me see what they're saying in the chat. Mr. Doc says, I don't hold it against fighters for reigning over one division. Me neither. I was never one to press the man Triple G to go up there and go to super middleweight now, I'd have liked to see him fight Andre Ward, sure, if they could have compromised and met somewhere for a catchweight. Sure, that's fine, but, Triple G just wasn't prepared or he wasn't ready for that. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. He knows what the outcome would be, you know what I mean? So, hey, he held back. MBT says, no, Mr. Doc, Ali can't be great because he only fought at one weight class. That's what Floyd Mayweather says. MBT being sarcastic, exactly. But I bet you Ali's fighting guys who are 20, 30 pounds bigger than him, you know what I mean? Mr. Doc says, OMG, that one made my head hurt. Yes, indeed. Mr. Doc says, yeah, that's the one thing Floyd has nothing to be ashamed of. MBT says, Mr. Doc hurt me more than AJ versus Kovalev at 200 pounds. Mr. Doc says, I don't get why he feels the need to come off as insecure in a way. I feel you, man. I think boxers are insecure just by nature, The fact of them losing, the fact, okay, I'm the man, I got such and such belt, but there's a guy on my heels who possibly could beat me or is calling me out in public, like Canelo and Lara, you know what I mean? Hey, Canelo was avoiding that fight for the longest. Lara had to, put his foot on his neck, walk up on him to the podium after Canelo beat Angulo and said, man, what's up, man? What you going to do? You going to fight me or what? You know what I mean? Same did Aaron Pryor. Aaron Pryor did the same thing to Sugar Ray Leonard, and the man, Sugar Ray Leonard, you could see it in his face, like, damn, this guy come to steal my spotlight. And then he said, hey, man, this is my press conference. This is my press conference, you know what I mean? Yeah, fighters are insecure, you know what I mean? They are insecure, and when they can overcome them insecurities and fight the guys that people perceive can beat them, that's what the victory, the thrill of the agony and the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. That's the pure definition right there. You know what I mean? You either gonna sink or swim. You know what I mean? And hey, if you get to swim, hey man, more power to you. We'll remember these type of fights forever. And that's where I think some of these fighters are insecure and they don't want to fight who the public might want them to fight. That's why, in my opinion, with Floyd, with all the stuff people were saying about him being scared of Pacquiao, I said if the man fights Manny Pacquiao, I got no more criticism towards him as far as the fighters he's fought, because to me that was a career-defining legacy fight. You know what I mean? For both them fighters. MBT says, I had a guy telling us Crawford is a weight bully. Crawford versus Gamboa was like AJ versus Kovalev at 200 pounds. He verified his statement by saying he believes AJ can make 200 pounds easy if he wanted to. Yeah, right, man. That man Anthony Joshua is not getting no smaller, man. What he came in 254. Don't be surprised if you see the man at 260. In my opinion, he should slim down a little bit, because he's been looking like he's been gassing out in the later rounds of his fights lately. All that muscle and the bulk he's building. I don't think it really is of any help to him. You know what I mean? He gassed out in that Klitschko fight, no doubt about it. And in my opinion, even in the Takum fight, he wasn't looking really very, fresh in later on down the stretch. You know what I mean? But Thomas Riley says taking a loss is too big a deal nowadays. According to these fighters, because of what that's what Thomas Riley says. But that's according to how these fighters move these days, but it's really not. Look at guys like the Robert the Ghost Guerrero, man. Them fellas took losses. He was still getting title shots. The man was still on TV, on Fox, for the whole country to see when he fought fellas like Figueroa, Danny Garcia. That man was always on TV, you know what I mean? Adrian Broner's been taking losses. He's going to still be on TV, getting title shots. So it's just a figment of the imagination, man, and they just got to get over that. The best of the best have lost. Ray Leonard lost in his what? I think his second title defense to Roberto Duran. You know what I mean? And they had already, given that man the moniker as like the next the next Muhammad Ali after he came out that Montreal Olympics in '76. He took a loss. All he did was redeem himself, beat Duran in the rematch. Went a couple fights. He fought Ayub Kalule for 154 title, challenging himself and just paving his way to greatness. You know what I mean? So, I don't think, to me, in my opinion, losing a fight will not. It won't hurt your career, man. It won't hurt your career. You check it, because you're gonna be given an opportunity again to redeem yourself. You know what I mean? You check it. Mr. Doc says, people forgot Lara stopped a better version of Angulo by breaking his face. Yeah, he did. And Mr. Doc says Cannoli couldn't stop a punching bag version of Angulo. Ref had to stop it. No doubt indeed. He did, and Lara definitely put hands on that man Angulo. And they say Lara's born. That fight was like my fight of the year for 2013, you know what I mean? Mr. Doc and MBT having some funny conversations here. MBT says, we got to stop B. Marsh from saying cannoli. Cannoli is an Italian sweet. I said, I might drop a video of it one day. I know all about cannolis, man. When I lived in Boston, man, when we go out to the North End, that's like the, like the Little Italy of Boston. That's where like the mafia be, the Cosa Nostra out there in Boston, in the North End. I used to get cannolis too, you know what I'm saying? And, some sweet pastries, you know what I mean? But, hey, man, cannoli, man, that's my guy still, I like to call them fellas cannoli because sometimes he be acting like a cannoli, man. You check it? But, yeah, man, hey, man, I just had to let it be known. Anthony Purvis, he says, what up, fam? What's happening, AP? What's good with you, son? Glad to see you in the chat one time, you know what I mean? I was just talking, and AP's a guy, we be talking about that old school boxing, man, you know what I mean? You check it in, I was just talking about Floyd Mayweather's conversation he had with the Fight Hype people, where, Floyd's calling himself a don. He says he's the don of this boxing shit. He's the godfather. Who called him the Godfather? Who crowned him that? To be a Godfather, man, you gotta be. Hey, man, your peers gotta call you that. Your peers gotta put you in that position. You check it. Whether if Floyd says he's TBE, well, every fighter out there should say he's TBE. You check it, and I'm not just talking about them fighters on TMT. I'm talking about his peers from all the fighters he beat from Cotto to Pacquiao to Mosley. Some will say, yeah, he fought an over the hill Mosley too. I thought, hey, man, Mosley. I'm not one to say that because I know why Mosley ain't want to fight that guy from 135 or 140 them times, and he took the fight against that man Floyd. Because hey, he would have gotten a nice payday. But truth be told, Mosley came off the biggest victory of his career, in my opinion, when he stopped the man Antonio Margarito. So that fight was fair and square. It was what it was. And you seen round two what happened, what Shane Mosley did to Floyd, buckled him twice. But he ain't finished. He ain't sealed the deal, you know what I mean? MBT says Ricotti cannoli is the ultimate one with rum and chocolate chip. I ain't never had that one. I ain't never had that cannoli. You check it, but yeah, man. I was just talking about how Floyd, man, is the little conversation he had with Sugar Ray Leonard on Instagram, and Floyd Mayweather talking to the guy Ben on Fight Hype, and kind of discrediting a lot of these fighters who did pave the way for him. You know what I mean? You know, the guy. That one thing I have noticed. That man Floyd Mayweather never mentions nothing about Sweepy Pernell Whitaker, and he knows why. Because in my opinion, that man kind of pay. The way his career was going from them lighter weights. You know what I mean? He was kind of like a modern day Pernell Whitaker. You know what I'm saying? A 2000s Pernell Whitaker. A guy who had that vicious defense. You know what I mean? A great counter puncher, you know what I'm saying? And just a guy who made fights look easy. That's why they said the man was boring, just like Wilfred Benitez. They said Pernell Whitaker was boring because nobody was really touching the man or giving him no tough fights, you know what I mean? He was making the fights look easy. And, the man definitely pays homage to the man Pernell Whitaker. Floyd pays homage to him because, before Floyd was even a professional, he'd come down to Virginia, to Norfolk, Virginia, and they'd be sparring, you know what I mean? Pernell Whitaker would have like a kind of camp down there, and he'd have all these young dudes come through like Zab Judah and and Floyd Mayweather. They'd come out there and, give each other good work down there in Norfolk, Virginia, you know what I mean? And Floyd Mayweather knows that, and that's why he never mentions nothing about Pernell Whitaker Pernell Whitaker lost to Tito Trinidad. Oh, he got his job. He never says nothing about Sweepy, man. And you better not, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I still fucks with Sweepy. You check it? What is Mr. Doc in the chat says, I'm waiting for Floyd to tell us Cannoli was a better win than Foreman. Yeah, he better not, even though I did give him mad credit for that fight, because I remember people saying that the man Cannoli was the guy to beat Floyd, And that man Cannoli, if you go look at that fight, Floyd looked like a little schoolboy next to Cannoli in that fight, and he was backing him up, had him on the ropes. He just was bullying the bigger young boy, you know what I mean? Mr. Doc says, I still can't believe Fishnets got the decision over Sweepy. Me too, man. That decision still hurts me to this day, man. That definitely wasn't, the man, even Pernell Whitaker, they say is a light puncher. He put the guy on the canvas. He put the man, De La Hoya, on the canvas. Thomas Riley says, boring is objective. It sure is. To me, and Mr. Doc is the one who always made this point, man. It's like you watch football, NFL, right? There's going to be teams like, I'm just going to take, for instance, historical teams. Let's say that Tampa Bay Bucks team with Warren Sapp and them fellas, Rondé Barber, John Lynch, and that vicious linebacker, I forgot his name, and Simeon Rice and these guys. Very good defensive team. And like Ray Lewis, them Baltimore Ravens teams he had, vicious defensive teams. And then you got teams like the greatest show on turf, the St. Louis Rams. These are two different styles of football, two different approaches to the game on how they're going to win games and ultimately win championships. That's how I look at boxing same way. You check it. I like all different kind of styles, you know what I mean? You check it. There's no fighter who was boring to me, you know what I mean? There's none. You check it. You know, a guy like Lara, some will say he's boring. That last fight was boring, but that's how Lara fights. You check it. You know, in my opinion, that fight should not have been the main event, you know, of that card on that Showtime card, but that's how he fights, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's about getting the victory. That's what Floyd says. Some say Floyd is boring. They said the Pacquiao fight was a boring fight. To me, it was a good fight. I watched that fight every few months, you know what I mean? I watched that fight all the time. I watched it 2 weeks ago in its entirety again. You check it, you know, seeing what kind of mistakes both fighters made, and just to see how, in a big fight of that magnitude, how each fighter took, you know, you know, they how they fought the opponent. You know what I mean? So that boxing, is different styles, different matchups. You know what I mean? Some would have said Winky Wright is born. I didn't think he was born. I thought he did what he had to do to win fights. You check it, you know. Um, Anthony Purvis says Sweepy was an icon, fam. DMV stand up. No doubt about it. Yeah, Sweepy's that dude, man. Mr. Doc says barely laid a glove on him. Yep. MBT says Canoli was only a 1 plus 135 underdog. Same odds as Pacquiao. Floyd won that 11-1 to me. Yeah, man. Floyd watched that fight, man. I didn't. Yeah, I think I had it same way. 11-1, 11 rounds to 1. Yep. Yes, Anthony Purvis. Yes, number 55. Yep, Brooks. Exactly. That dude right there. Yeah. You know what I mean? That team was vicious. You check it, but you can't compare that type of team to like the St. Louis Rams, greatest show on turf. You know what I mean? Two different styles. Mr. Doc says, I'll never forget how Whitaker beat up that Diabolus Hurtado. Sweepy could bang if he was forced to. And remember that fight, man. The Cuban Hurtado was beaten. that man Pernell Whitaker was losing that fight. He was losing that fight. Then Duva and George Benton told him in the corner, man, you need a knockout to win this fight. And you seen what he did. It was a left hand that started it. Boom! Caught the man on the ropes. And the man just proceeded to pounce on him with that left hand. Nothing else. Straight left. Bang, bang, bang. Put that man through the ropes. Damn near killed that man. Yeah. MBT says, I loved Winky Wright. Me too, man. Winky Wright was a very good fighter. He was a defense first type of guy who created his offense from his defense. You know what I mean? Mr. Doc says Lara is going to dissect his opponents unless he's forced to really fight like Angulo forced him to. Yes, indeed. And that fight was a fight of the year, in my opinion, in 2013. I think that year they gave it to I think it was Bradley Provodnikov, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because I think 2012 was Mike Alvarado versus Brandon Rios. Mr. Doc says in the chat, yeah, MBT, yep, I always say Winky Wright had that most unstoppably southpaw jab I've ever seen. Yeah, his jab was on point, man. And that tight defense, man, tucking high guard, tucking them elbows. You can't hit the man in the face nor in the rib cage. Tough dude to fight, man. MBT says, Mr. Doc, don't need no head movement, no lateral movement. Just stay in front of you with the high guard and you can't hit him. Exactly. That's Winky Wright for you, man. You check it. But yeah, man, just had to let it be known one time, man. Floyd Mayweather, man, is a guy I respect in the ring. Very good fighter, you know. I was been a fan, but I just think that there's certain things he should just leave alone. Let his career and his resume speak for themselves, you know what I mean? Let the fans be the ones who make these outrageous or outlandish statements like Floyd does, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it makes the man Floyd seem like he's insecure even after the fact that he's retired and he's done what he's done in boxing. But B-Marsh Boxing, man, I'm about to seal the deal, shut down this live stream, about to go hoop, man, about to go play some ball one time, man. It's a nice Sunday afternoon. You check it. I got the basketball Jones in me, man. You know what I mean? Last time I played, I gave fellas that work. Hey, man, and I want to feel that same feeling again. You check it? Even though, hey, ain't 2 days the same, you know what I mean? You could have a good game the other day, the next day, forget about that good game. It's a new day, you know what I mean? But thanks for everybody for listening. Big ups to MBT Boxing, my man Thomas Riley. Shout outs to you. Shout outs to Mr. Doc. Hey man, Mr. Doc's a good dude, man. I learned a lot from Mr. Doc, especially about them 70s boxers, you know what I mean? The heavyweight scene. I remember that what you call it, the quiz Beats gave us, you know what I mean? Man, Mr. Doc smashed us when it came to that 70s boxing. He smashed all of us, you know what I mean? But I gave fellas that work when it came to that 80s light heavyweight division, you know, with Michael Spinks, Eddie Mustafa, you know what I mean, Matthew Saad Muhammad, you know, Dwight Kawhi, Marvin Johnson. That was a great era to me, the best era of light heavyweight boxing. You check it, even Bobby Ches and Prince Charles William came later on down the scene, you know. It was a good. I hope Beast. I'm gonna tell Beast, man. He gotta do one of those again. He said we will. I'm just gonna remind him one time. But thanks a lot for everybody. Big ups to my man AP. Shout outs to you, man. Big ups to everybody for coming through. And I'm gonna catch y'all on the next video. Peace.